Hello everybody, it's Rachel at From Moments to Milestones, and I'm here today with our newest paper pad card kit. Let's see, we use the Carta Summer Sunflowers 6x6 pad, created 7 cards. So if you buy a kit, you're going to get pre-cut kits, and you're going to put together these 7 cards. You will also get the remainder of the 6x6 pad. I usually try to use about 1 sheet of each pattern from your kit, and then so you really could, if you had the dies and stamps that I used here, you could duplicate these cards. The supplies I use to create the kits are on the back. So we will go ahead and get started. We're going to start with this first card here, and this is Birthday Hugs. Get all the little pieces, and this is the dot to your eye on the on this blue tape here. So pull that off and set it to the side so I don't lose it. And let's see. I'm a little behind on making this video. I was on vacation, so some of this, it's been a while since I've done it, so bear with me. I know on this is a large greenery piece from the Spellbinders Lemon Zest die. And we're going to use these leaves, but we are going to cut them apart. So there's like a bunch of 3 together and these 2. So we're just going to come in here and carefully cut these apart. And then I'm going to cut away the stems because I don't need any of those. So there's that. So you're going to end up with that leaf, or that bunch of 2. And then we're going to cut off the stems for that. And if you want to clean this up a little bit so it doesn't look like we cut it apart, I'm going to do that. Alright. And let's see, we've got 2 white flowers, and you should have flower centers. They're probably light blue on one side and that coral color on the back. I probably need to get my glue started because I also have not used that in a while. So let's do that before I even get started. Alright, we've got the glue going. So I'm going to put a couple dollops there. I'm going to find my tool here, and just to stick those flower centers in. You have this piece here, and on this is from a Spellbinders kit as well, but we're just going to use this one little portion, and we're going to cut off that long stem, so we don't need that. And then you should have 2 buds, or white buds, sorry. And we're going to put those on top. So they should match up. They go right on top. I think I put enough glue on there. Well, this one doesn't quite match up. I may have given the wrong one. So I'm going to glue it on there, and then we have to do some trimming. I think, let's see how it goes. I'm sorry about that. I hope it was just my kit, but if yours doesn't line up correctly, I just have that little bit showing. I'm just going to take my scissors in there and trim around it. They were so similar in the way they looked, and no one will know that that did not go there. Alright, so there's that piece. And then you have these little buds here. They're blue on the back, coral on the front. And we are going to glue those to this. So I'm going to kind of set them out in front of me. Like so. And then I'm going to put glue on the back like that. I'm just going to do one at a time. And then it's going to go on the front. And then I'll pick it up just like that. 2 more. Alright, so our little buds are on that stem. And then this little dot here is just the center of something, and we don't need that. So we're going to have 3 tiny flowers. We're not going to do anything to those, and then you have these 2. Larger pink, and then you have this coral, these kind of floral shapes, but they're a little different. So those are like flower centers. So we're going to put glue on the back. And I don't know that there's a perfect way. I just kind of play around with it until I am happy with the placement. So that works for me. And we're going to do the same with the other one. Alright, so we have all those pieces put together, and now we're ready to assemble the card. So I'm going to get this out of the way. And in your kit, you should have a full size. I think mine got cut a little short, but either way, you're going to stick it onto the card base, opening the right way, and you're just going to center it on there. And if yours is short like mine, just center it towards the top. It's all going to get covered. You just need those that pattern to show through the windows. So I'm going to stick that down. And then this piece goes on. Now I pop mine up. You could glue it straight down and then pop up your flowers, which is what I think I'm going to do this time. Just line that up. Alright, and so for our florals, so this 3 is kind of down here, and you may want to lay that out the birthday hugs so you make sure you aren't covering it up, or you've got room. You can even glue it down if you want. I'm not going to do that just yet. So like so, and this one looks like I have it like that, and then those flowers will go like so. So I think I'm going to put the leaves straight down, and then I'm going to pop up the flowers. Start with that. And then all right, and that one. Alright, and so I'm going to tuck this in there, and I'm just going to glue down the bottom, and I think I'm going to pop up each individual bud. We'll wait and see how that plays out. And then I have this one that kind of gets tucked right in there like so. Do that same idea. That. Oh, maybe not enough glue on that one. Okay. So I'm going to go in and add my foam, and then I'll finish it off with those little pink flowers. So those are on there. I'm going to put a couple pieces of foam behind there if I can. Well, that one might be too big. And I probably should have put it on before I glued it down, but might even be able to get away with just the one. Okay. And these little flowers, let's see, I've got one right in here, so I'm just gonna put this bigger one right there. It'll be raised up a little being on that frame. And the other one's right in here. And let's see, got one here, here, and there. And if you wanted a flower center for these little flowers, you could maybe do frills or glitter. I was okay to just let them be. And then let's go ahead and get our birthday hugs down there. I just want to make sure it's centered and straight. Looks good. Actually, I'm going to use a little trick here and then just touch it. Seems to work well. Oh, that keeps moving on me. All right, let's try to get that straight. Okay, there's birthday, and we'll do the hugs. All right, that's perfect. Get a baby wipe and get that glue off my hand. Okay. All right. After we get our little, I forgot about the dot to our eye, so it's super tiny. I'm going to put the smallest bit of glue there. And get it off the paper. Where did it go? And there it is. All right. And that one is finished. All right, our next card is Get Well. Pretty sunflowers, lots of bits. And then you've got your sunflower centers again on this tape. Those out. All right, let's start with our building up our sunflowers, I think. All right, to color our sunflowers, we're going to use some fossilized amber. You can use distress ink or distressed oxide. I happen to have the oxide here. And I'm just going to take, they're all for the exact same. Well, I don't know if they're the exact same, but they're close. Maybe. But you're just going to pick two. So if you find out what's the same, really doesn't matter. We're going to layer them on top of each other. So I'm going to pick two, and I am going to completely cover them. So just darken them up with the ink. Okay. And I'm going to set those aside. And then for the black, you're going to get some black soot or black ink of any kind, because right now I don't have the black soot at my desk. So black ink of any kind. And these solid portions of the centers, we're going to make those black. Okay. And then I'm going to clean up my surface here. Use that same baby wipe. Okay. And then what we're going to do is layer up. So I'm going to get some foam squares on the back of those lighter ones. Put a couple foam squares. And we're just gonna take those and put them right on top and just kind of move it around so you can kind of see some of what's behind. You won't see a lot, but you'll see a little. So there's those, and then we're going to do the same with these. You'll have these brown pieces. You may need to poke those holes out. And then I'm going to glue those to the solid, the ones we colored black. So, and then that piece is going to go right there, and I just glued it flat. There's that one. Alright, so there's our little sunflowers. And then you have these 3 centers. 1, 2, and 3. And those are going to go in the centers of these 3 little white flowers. They're sticking together. Go. Alright, there's those 3. And then let's go ahead. We're going to cut apart our greenery in the same way that we did for the first card. So this bunch of 3 together. Cut off the stems and clean that up a little bit. Alright, like so. And then we are also going to take one of these and cut it in half. One we're going to use as a whole, and the other one we're going to cut apart. So however you want to do that, I'm just going to go in here and snip. And now I've got one that looks like that, one that looks like that. And now we'll be ready to put this together. So let's get that yellow plaid. Oh, you might have an extra, nope, never mind. I was thinking I might have included that extra white flower, but I don't think I did. The die cut's 4 at a time, but maybe I did not. Alright, so this yellow plaid is going to go in the center of your white card base. So you have a real thin white border all the way around. And then we are going to, I did ink this pocket with, I'm just going to use what's left on my dauber. I just did the edges. I'll bring out the stitching a little. And then we're going to put foam on the back. So I'm just going to put it around the edges. I think I cut that too big almost. Because I may want to tuck stuff inside. So I'm going to put a couple down here. Put a little bit right there as well. Okay. So I'm going to get my pocket. It's not going to be quite centered because if I center it, then I don't have room for all my, so it's about 1 inch from the bottom, but it's centered side to side. So that looks good. All right, and then the get well is just going to go straight across the bottom, which I'm going to go ahead and put that on so that I won't overlap. Well, some of it's going to hang off. So I won't overlap it with the flowers. Here's send it across the bottom. And now we will play with the placement here. So let's see. I think it was something like this. This. You've got your two flowers. Does that look good? Yes. So you're going to need foam for these. Alright, so that's going to hang off. So I just put foam up there. And this one's going to hang off. So that one's going to need foam. Like so, and maybe a little foam right there. All right, so that looks good to me. And then tuck these in, and I may go ahead and cut this down just in case I want to tuck in some extras since we have it. And I'm just going to put a little glue on the back, tuck that in. Go right in that opening there. And then we've got one of them is going to come. Let's go ahead and put our flowers down. And I didn't pop them up again. They already have a layer of foam. So there's one. There's, I might need foam right there to keep it level. Yep. Okay. Flowers are on, so then we can tuck in our little bits of greenery here and there. Tuck that in there. And then we're going to have one coming out like so. And I may need to cut off one more. I'm going to do this. Lift those up and tuck that in like so. All right, so we're going to finish with those 3 flowers and I think we'll call it good. So we've got one here, one hanging off that leaf, and one right there. And that completes our Get Well card. Our next card is Hello, Sending Smiles. All right, let's go ahead and put the base together. So I got some different pieces. You don't want to lose those. I'm going to stick those there. So let's start with the blue, and we're going to glue that down to the right side of our white card base. And then this little chicken paper is going to go on the left. Super cute. All right, now we got a little bit of fussy cutting to do. So the first cut I'm going to have you make, you're going to need a craft knife, and we are going to cut away the center of this frame. So you could, if you don't have a craft knife or you don't like using craft knives, you could, you know, poke a hole and get in there with your scissors and cut. But this is going to be pretty quick and easy. I'm just going to follow the line. go. All right. And one way, if you leave a little white, or like there's a little white, well, a quick way to get rid of that would be a little bit of brown ink. I can't get that little corner out. Okay. So you could take a little Dauber and some brown ink to get rid of it, or if you got it all out, then don't worry about it. I'm going to come in with a little brown ink as I didn't get it all. And I'll just go all the way around just to good measure. All right. And then we're going to need to fussy cut this floral arrangement from this little cut apart sheet. And I left a very small white border or pink if it's over in the pink. And you might think that would look silly, but once it's on there, it's a pink and plaid, it's behind that plaid pink and white paper. So it's just going to blend in just nice. So I'm kind of holding my scissors and moving the paper. It's the easiest way to do these little cuts. All right, so there's our little floral piece. And then you're gonna have this brown piece, which is gonna get glued behind this. So I'm just gonna take a pencil, I think, and mark where it needs cut. So just a little bit behind, so right there and right there. So it's a little bit smaller. And I'm just, do I have my big scissors? I don't know where they are. So we use our trimmer. I'll start with that mark first. And this one. So it is, I'm going to say if that was helpful, not really. Unless you like, the easiest way is to use a pencil unless you like using small increments on and that's going to fit. So, and this piece is also going to go in there. All right, so I'm going to put foam on the outside of my frame. So I have my foam on there, and I'm going to peel off the backing and stick it onto the plaid. You could certainly do this too. Flip it over and stick it on that way. It might be easier. And if there's any sticking out, oh, I kind of got it crooked, but I'm going to leave it be. It'll be fine. I'm just going to go in and trim away what you can see. All right. A little bit more. Okay. So there's that, and this little piece is going to tuck. It will actually fit in between. Unless you have really thick foam on there, it might not fit. Like so. And I'm actually going to move it to make my stuff look straight. Since it's slightly crooked, that kind of bugs me. I'm going to put it here, I think, where it's heavy on the, yeah. So wherever you want. That's where it looks good to me. So there's that, and that'll give your basket a place to sit. So then this piece is going to get glued on there like so. And you want to leave a little, so about 1 inch from the top and centered side to side. And then these little pieces that you have on the press and seal are the little picture hanger. So we'll take this little triangle piece first and put some glue. Oh, that plaid is crooked. Oh well, it's just a sample. Okay. And then that. It's gonna go on there like so. Oh my goodness. All right. fingers have glue on the edges. They're sticky. All right, so now we have this little wire basket die cut, and mine did not die cut well, so I'm going to try to hide it under there when I glue it down. I hope I glued it with wet glue, so that might not work. This card's giving me all kinds of fits. There we go. Okay. Before I glue it on though, I have some Sizzix Luster Wax in silver, I believe. Yep, just silver. And I'm going to just use my finger. I'm going to rub in there a little bit, get some. Oh yeah, I got plenty. And I'm just going to rub it on different parts of this basket so that it looks like an old rusty wire basket. Clean my fingers off. All right, so now for the basket, I'm going to put some glue on the back. Actually, I think I'm going to use that trick here because it's so delicate. And I'm going to tuck mine behind just to hide that little imperfection in the die cut. Glue that down. And then you're going to take this little fussy cut piece and put some foam on it. And that is going to go on top of the wire basket. Like so. And then you have the die cut word hello. And you have the sending smile. So that's going to go down here at the bottom. Sending smiles. Punch that out. Let's see. There it goes. And a little bit more glue. And there we go. That card is finished. Our next card is Hope Your Day is Special. I have all these little berries on the tape in there. Okay. So let's layer this one up first. So we're going to put down this coral paper. Glue on the back. Card base, and then the plaid paper is going to go down centered on the coral. Have a little border. I'm going to need to cut down my card base. I did not glue that on very well, and it's bugging me that I can see the white. Got that fixed. Okay, now you have this Pink Fresh die cut. I need a little dry eraser. Must have got a little too inky there. All right, we took care of that. So we're going to glue down that onto that coral piece. And you can pop this up if you want. I glued it flat down and popped up the flowers, but I think this time I'm going to see if I like it better with, I need something bigger though, if I pop up this actual piece instead. Alright, so we're just going to center that on there. Use the plaid as a guide. Oh, it's not centered side to side. Alright. And then let's layer up our flowers. So like we did before, I'm going to take that fossilized amber ink and darken up one of each of the flowers. And then what we're going to do is put foam on the back. I might need a little piece. And I'm going to use a little wet glue too, because that ink is probably still wet and I don't want to wait on it to dry. We're going to offset the petals. I need to look at it better. Just like so. All right, so there's our two flowers, and then you have two centers. So I'm going to put those on. And then we have some greenery. So you have two longer pieces, and then you have these pieces that we're going to glue all those berries onto. Now on this one here, you have a berry on it. I'm just going to trim it off. We're not going to glue a berry onto that. And then here, I'm just going to pull all the berries off. We want the orangey, or the, I think it's orange or coral, I don't remember, but not the pink. I'm just going to put glue on each little end. Clean up that glue. And we're going to do the same to this other one. Alright, so there's that. Looks like you have an extra one, so you could have glued it on there. I think it's a little too small, so it might not work, but so toss that extra one. And now we're going to make our little floral arrangement here. So this taller one is right in there. Then we have this piece here. And two flowers and your berries there and there. So something like that. So I'm going to glue that down and we will be finished with this card. Alright, tuck in these last bit of berries. And I didn't actually glue that down, so I probably should do that. I'm noticing I have a couple leaves in there. I don't know if it's just my kit that was shorted them, or maybe nobody's kit got it, but I think you'll be okay either way. So that finishes that card. On to the next card. Let's see, this one will go together pretty quickly. So we are going to start by putting down this green paper. Onto the white card base, and you're going to have a white border. Like so. And then what we're going to do is find, this is going to go in the center, and then these pieces, they should somewhat line up. Let's see if I can find how they lined up. There they are. We've got the stems of the mushrooms. So really I cut this piece in half. I'm going to put one at the top and one at the bottom. So we're just going to play around until you get that placement where they're all evenly spaced, and I'll start with the top and glue them down. Alright, so there's that, and then this bunch of 3 leaves is going to go down at the bottom. If you feel like you need to clean anything up, you can go in and do that, and that's going to go there, and I'm just going to glue that straight down. In there, like so, where it all fits on there. That's what I'm looking for. And then we're gonna repeat kind of some of that same process that we've done before. So I'm gonna darken up. There's 2 different sunflowers. One has more petals. That one we're gonna darken up. And then you have a solid and one with holes. The solid one we're going to use black ink on. I don't even need to get out an ink pad, just use what's in my inker. Okay. So let's glue them together. On this one I'm going to use foam. And I'll put some more wet glue in case that, I know that ink is not dry yet. And then what I like to do to match these up, there's one here with the 2 petals, and this one has 2 petals. So that's, you're going to get those close to each other, and that seems to be the best way to line it up. Alright. And then let's layer up the brown pieces. Glue that on. Alright, and that piece, I was trying to put it on that one. That piece is going to go right here, and you just want to place it so you don't cover up any of your sentiment. It's perfect. And then you have more berries and another branch, berry branch. So let's get those off of that. The glue on there. Stick the berries on. Oh, great. Well, that's going to be enough. Okay. Put some glue on the back of that. We're going to tuck that in right here. All right. That card is finished. The next card is Happy Days. This is a mini slimline. So we are going to start with the string. And I'm trying to remember how this string went. I think you have one long piece that you need to cut into 4 equal pieces. So that's what you need to do, is cut it in half and then cut them in half again. Here I have some scraps I'm going to use. So, and then what you'll do, so then you'll end up with 4 pieces. So you're going to take 4 of those pieces, or 3 of those pieces, and wrap them around the bottom of your card. So I'm going to get a couple pieces of tape, You can use washi tape, you can flip it around and put some adhesive on. You can use however you want to do it. So I'm going to come up, it's about an inch from the bottom. So I'm just going to pick a spot here and I'm going to wrap it around the back, flip it over and tape it down. Alright, so then I'm going to stretch it, and I'm actually going to trim this before I do that. I'm going to leave myself about an inch. I don't know if you'll have that much room. I'm just working with scraps, but I'm going to get it where I want it. I'm going to pull it tight, but not so tight that it bows the paper. So I'm just going to pull it tight, wrap it around, and tape the back side. Okay, so now I'm going to put adhesive on the back. And we can put this onto our little card base. So you just want to make sure you put those strings on there first, and then you can put it on the card base. Okay. And then with your extra piece of string, you're going to slip it behind. And you're just going to tie a bow. And you can put it anywhere you want. I have mine slightly off to the right. You can put it right in the center if you want. You can make it as big or small as you want. And then I'm going to trim off the ends. That is coming. There we go. Okay. There's the bow. And now we have these two pieces here. So you have the Happy Days that has been cut with a Dare to Be Artsy die, and we're going to center that on the white rectangle. And that white really makes that border pop. The little, I don't know, it's not really stitched. It's got little holes in it. And then I'm going to put this on foam. Got some. All right, and this piece is going to go down centered at the top. So, okay, so next we have this little Thinking of You strip that's going to go across the water can there, and it's a little bit longer than this one. It's easier to stamp on, so I'm just going to come in with scissors and trim away the excess, and then it's up to you. You can glue it straight down or put it on foam. I chose to put mine on foam. So let's see. And that's just going to get centered right there. All right. And then that finishes that card. But I did do a little something extra to mine. I used some black frills to kind of give it some glitter. If you have a black glitter, it would be really pretty here. So maybe I'll do the glitter on this one so you can see the difference. So I'm just going to take my wet glue and put a few drops on the inside. Oh, that's a big one. Okay. And then the black glitter is going to get everywhere. Let me get something to put it in. I'm going to try not to get it up there where I got glue so it doesn't stick where I don't want it. This is a super fine glue. So now you'll have a little bit of sparkle. Or the other option on this card were the power outage pearls. So it's up to you what you want to use, or you can leave it blank. You could certainly use like a clear iridescent glitter as well, but that card is finished. Okay, we have one last card, Sending Love, and this one's going to go pretty quick. This is a center step card. So we get these pre-cut from the paper cut. And let's see. First thing we're going to do is this sunflower paper. I'm going to tuck it in behind, and it's going to get glued to those two panels. Now I'm only going to put glue because on the back you'll be able to see that through there, which I'm okay with, but I don't want glue there. I'm going to glue my card shut. So I'm going to take my tape gun and just put some on the two ends. And it might be easier if you want to completely fold out your card. You could do that too. You just want to make sure it's weaved in behind the that center step and get it centered on there. I've got a white border everywhere. Too much white. I don't know, mine doesn't seem to be cut right. Let me get that out of there. I need to trim some. Try it one more time when it's folded. Maybe I'm putting it on wrong. I am. There we go. So just like so. So then when you open it, it's going to look like that, and it actually makes that card more stable, having that center in there. Okay. Then you're going to take this blue strip and we're going to put that on the front, and it will also have a white border. It should kind of match up with that yellow. And then this piece is going to fit right in that center spot. And I've glued this all straight down. Just like so, and we've got the card. Now you could leave it be if you don't like the sending love sentiment. When you're ready to send it out, you could put anything right there. This just happened to fit perfect, so I'm going to pop that up. Put some foam tape there. Center it under the basket, and that card is finished. All right, these are the cards we just completed. I hope you enjoyed this paper pad kit. If you're interested in a kit, you can check us out at FromMomentsToMilestones.com and look for the Summer Sunflowers kit there. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.